UFC 317 took place last night, and yes, we knocked out Charles Oliveira in the first round. This was an easy fight to predict. We all got this one. Ilia Topuria, man, he's a fucking menace. We told you guys, this dude is Thanos. He took out Max Holloway. He took out Volk. Now it's Charles Oliveira's turn, and man, what an event. It was actually a pretty good start to finish. We're going to give you an event recap, man. Starting with the first fight, going all the way up to the main event. So let's get right into it. The first fight of the night. Oh my god. I will be going farther into the main event later on. So just bear with me. But Janata Denise versus Alvin Hines started the card. And I don't know if it's just me, but I've been having issues with Fight Pass. The past two events, man, they are not letting me watch the prelims on Fight Pass. It is telling me I do not have a subscription. I most certainly am paying for it, so I don't know what the fuck that's going towards if I don't have a subscription. I'm pressing restore purchase. It's telling me everything's good to go, and then it's not letting me watch the fights. So I'm having to go over to Sports Surge and fucking... I shouldn't have name dropped them, but I'm having to go over to these alternative sites and watch the fights there instead because it's not even letting me. I'm paying for it and it's not letting me watch it on the service I'm paying for it on. So why am I paying for it? So that's just a little rant before I get into this because Janata Denise, Alvin Hines started the card, and this was actually a pretty good fight from what I saw, as much as I saw, on the site I was watching it on. Janata Denise was doing pretty good, but Alvin Hines is game, man. This dude was ready for a fight. You can see in the significant strikes, 83 to 112. Janata was a little bit ahead of him for the entirety of the fight, but Alvin Hines was not backing down. This dude never once, I don't think he got knocked down. He didn't back up. He was just marching forward the entire time, throwing bombs and eating bombs. Pretty good fight to start the card. It went to a decision, and Janata Denise looked pretty good, for the most part. So good win for him. And moving on to the next fight, Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Very good performance by Jacoby Smith. I have been saying this dude looked really good in his past two fights. And this one was no different. Nico Price is usually a pretty resilient dude, and he was eating a lot of bombs from Jacoby Smith. I told you guys to bet over 27.5 significant strikes for Jacoby Smith. I thought it was a pretty low number, and it hit in the first round. That was a fucking easy cash. Easy cash. Jacoby Smith got it done in the second, took him down, and Nico Price had no answer for him. Jacoby Smith, he's going to need someone a lot more well-rounded to take him out, I think, but he's very good, and I don't know what the ceiling is for him yet. We have not seen the end of this dude. He has a massive future ahead of him is what I'm trying to say. Jeez, I'm stuttering. Moving on, Terence McKinnis versus Vyacheslav Borshev, and I thought I had a good read here, guys. I did. I picked Slava Claus. I said he would get him down in the first round, by knockout. I said it would be a scrap. I said this would be a pretty fast fight, to be fair. I predicted a Terence McKinnis fight pretty well. I said it would be a fast fight, guys, but I thought Slava Claus was going to get it done, but Terence McKinnis just fucking Hamza Chamay. Hamza Chimaev, this was Hamza Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. He just ran at him and double-legged him and choked him out in the first minute of the fight. And Slava had no answer and just tapped. This was sad. This was a ragdolling. This was an absolute annihilation. I thought I had a good read picking Slava Claus. I would stand by that pick. If this fight had never happened before and I still was presented with the same information, I'd still end up on Slava Claus and end up looking like a fool in the end. So, I stand by my pick at the end of the day, even though I look pretty bad. Same with Slava Claus. Good win for Terence McKinnis, though. He showed why he was the favorite, I guess. I really thought I had a good read with the underdog pick of Slava Claus, man, but I stand corrected. He did lose to Chase Hooper, to be fair, so Moving on, Vivian Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. This was a Gooners classic, man. This was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Just camera angles, incredible work. Tracy Cortez ends up getting it done by decision. Not a hard read. This was a pretty easy fight to pick, I thought. The first round, I think, was a little bit close. They kind of rolled back and forth in the first round, but this was mostly a domination for Tracy Cortez. Like, 30-27, I think, was the scorecards. 30-27s across the board, maybe 29-28. I can't even. I think it was all 30-27s though. And Tracy Cortez, I mean, I thought it was a 30-27 as well. She looked really dominant. Good win for her, but again, I said in the prediction video, I don't think she's going to be a champion. I don't. I hate to say it. I hate to rain on her parade. I just don't think she's got what it takes, man. But good win for her. Like, this was a back in the win column fight for Tracy Cortez against 38-year-old Vivian Araujo, might I add. But good win for her. Anyways, Hyder Amil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. Who let this guy... This has not been getting talked about as much as it should have been in the past little bit since the card. You know, Ilya has drowned out all of the coverage of this card, and understandably so. We'll get into that later. But Jose Delgado knocking out Hyder Amil in 26 seconds is insane. Insane. This is not getting talked about at all. Hyder Amil has a fucking granite chin. This dude, he was getting compared to Drew Dober. You know? So for him to just get put out like that in 26 seconds, knee up the middle, oh my god, what a finish for Jose Delgado. I knew he was technical, man. I was so flip-floppy in my prediction video on this one. It took me like 6-7 minutes to pick my prediction. And I ended up going with Hyder Amil as the underdog. I just thought he was getting a bit disrespected on the odds, but I guess the odds makers knew something I didn't, you know? Jose Delgado made it look fucking effortless. There was no strikes landed for Hyder Amil. Jose Delgado shot a takedown, I think, or Hyder Amil shot a takedown and got stuffed. Jose Delgado threw him pretty much away from him on the takedown attempt, and he got up and 1, 2, 3 knee up the middle type thing. Boom. That's it. It was effortless for Jose Delgado. I didn't think he was going to make it look that easy, man. Hyder Amil is good, and he made it look fucking effortless against him. So, Jose Delgado is incredible. Moving on to the next fight. Jack Hermanson versus Gregory Rodriguez. This was a fun one to watch. I'll just say that. This was a fun one to watch. We all thought this was going to happen, right? We all kind of knew this was going to happen. Gregory Rodriguez he knocked down Jared Cannonier in that fight. I feel like a lot of people forget how that fight was going just because Gregory Rodriguez got finished in the third or fourth round after he gassed out. People forget, man. He knocked down Jared Cannonier and nearly finished him in the first. He could have won that fight if he had a little bit more push in the first round. Jack Hermanson, this dude is 50-50 in his last 10 fights. That's crazy. And he had won his fight before this, so obviously he's going to lose to Gregory Rodriguez in his next fight. I mean, he was piecing him up. He had landed 12 more strikes before the finish. But he gets put out unconscious, man. If we're going power for power, this was undeniably Gregory Rodriguez all day. And yeah, he connected on Jack Hermanson's chin, put him out bad. Joe Pyfer's a bitch. Moving on. Just because he couldn't knock it. I'm sorry. If Pyfer's watching, man, all respect to you. You just couldn't knock out Jack Hermanson. It's a little bit of. I was just joking around. Payton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. Bad call by me. Bad call by me. You know, I thought Felipe Lima was an absolute lock. And I get it, Payton Talbot looked good. He did look good. I feel like Felipe Lima looked pretty bad as well. I feel like he made a lot of bad decisions in this fight. Ended up getting countered in a lot of these positions that he's like, why? I don't know why he's going for some of this shit on the ground. I can't call out exactly like the names of some of these positions, but if you go back and rewatch it, you know what I'm talking about. He kind of, I feel like a lot of these positions on the ground, he kind of put himself on the bottom. Not what I expected. I expected the opposite. I thought Payton Talbot was going to be putting himself on the bottom. I thought, if you know, you know. But Felipe Lima, I guess, I don't know. I guess he really wanted to feel Payton Talbot's wrath, and he let Payton Talbot do it. Sucks to suck, but I really felt like Felipe Lima had the better skills to win this fight. I would stand by this pick. This is not like I don't think it was a recency bias thing that I was picking Felipe Lima for. Even if he had beaten Raoni Barcelos, I think I still would have picked Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima looked really good in his last couple fights. This one was undesirable. I feel like he looked pretty bad in this fight. Like, let me know if you agree with me or not, but I think Felipe Lima was pretty bad last night. Just let me know what you think. But moving on, Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. I told you guys, man. I told you guys. This guy. That's an Islam title defense. That's an Islam title defense. Renato Moicano. Looks pretty bad now. I mean, he knocked down Beneil in the first round, but Beneil was still outstriking him. I didn't think... I didn't think Renato was going to knock him down. I honestly didn't. But I was saying it since January, but Beneil's ground game is much better than Renato's, and a lot of people just overlooked it just because he's loud, This dude's energetic. He's got a podcast, he's making his rounds, good on him. He's making money. He loves money. That makes him complacent, he's kind of rich, I feel like now. He's bringing jewelry around, and he's got this fight analyst team that I feel like are kind of yes men around him, Matty Betts and Hajai. I don't think they're telling him the right things. Beneil Dariush is a dangerous opponent, and I was seeing clips of Renato Moicano looking unconfident for weeks leading up to this fight. So I was called crazy for picking Beneil Dariush. And look what happens now, guys. This dude out-grappled him for 2 rounds, game-planned him to a decision victory. Renato didn't know what hit him. Talking about, I've got to go back to the gym. I've got to learn. I've got to get better. Dude, you're 36, 37. You ain't got that much time left. This is a humbling experience for Renato Moicano. Sucks to suck, buddy. You ain't beating Beneil. Maybe be a bit quieter next time. Good win for Beneil Dariush, though. Moving on to Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. I changed my pick on this one, and I'm so happy I changed my pick on this one. Listen, in my prediction video last week, you will see me ending on Brandon Royval. But the next day, I posted the short, the quick picks or whatever. I officially changed my pick to Josh Van. I changed my pick. Listen, Joshua Van was the pick by the end of the week. I ended up betting on him. This dude was doubling Royval's significant strikes on paper, and he was matching Royval's energy in the cage. No matter what Brandon was throwing at him, Joshua Van was matching it back with a more damaging strike. And in the end, that's what was more valued. It doesn't matter that Brandon landed, 10 or 20 more, or 10... 15 more fucking strikes, something like that. 7 more strikes. I didn't even see there. Yeah, 7 more strikes. Does that really matter? No, because Joshua Van got a knockdown. Joshua Van landed the better strikes. And that's what matters in the end. Joshua Van is so fucking good, and he's only 23 years old, man. But he's going to fight Pantoja. And Pantoja... Unfortunately, Pantoja is incredible. This dude is untouchable. He made Kai France look like a little girl, I'll say. It says he landed 57 significant strikes. I think that number's closer to 0 for Kai France. I don't think he landed a single one on Pantoja. I'm pretty sure Pantoja was untouched in this fight. Start to finish, I don't think he took a single strike from Kai France. I'm pretty sure he ragdolled him at every moment and tapped him out in the 3rd round. This was effortless for Pantoja. This dude could have went and had a job interview with no questions about what happened before this. Like, he completely unfazed. He entered the cage and left the cage without a sweat. He looked effortless. You know, this guy walked through Kai France just fucking. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? He just chokes him unconscious. This guy's nothing. Like, whatever the fuck that is, you know? Made that guy look pretty dumb now. What the fuck was that at the weigh-ins, man? That looked pretty dumb now, didn't it? Dude sticking his tongue out and fucking getting all up in his face. I wouldn't want someone having their tongue right in front of me, man. That's pretty nasty. Fuck. Pantoja made this look effortless, and now I am worried for my life for Joshua Van, because kid's only 23 years old, man. He's gonna get fucking ragdolled by Pantoja. There's no way Joshua Van is able to do that to Pantoja, right? Right? I mean, Steve Erceg went 5 rounds with him, so maybe, but no way, right? Pantoja's going to ragdoll him for sure, and it's going to be a very sad day in the office for all of us. But moving on, speaking of all of us, we knocked out Charles Oliveira in the 1st round. This was completely effortless. Oh my god. He out-grappled him in the 1st round. In the 1st minute of the fight, he out-grappled him, got back up, and just knocked Charles Oliveira's head off of his shoulders. Completely off of his shoulders. And I told you guys, Topuria is Thanos. I was making these comparisons before the Max Holloway fight. And he collected Max Holloway, and he put him in the gauntlet. And now Topuria, this dude, he is Thanos. Completely with the fucking Infinity Gauntlet. This dude is maxed out. There's no stopping him anymore. Who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him? Patty's going to stop him? I don't think so. I don't know about that. I mean, you want to test your chin against the guy that's knocking out Max Holloway? I don't know about that one, buddy. Who's going to stop him? If Islam moves back down after if he ends up winning the belt, or if he ends up losing and he moves back down, I feel like that weight cut affects him more after that. So I feel like Topuria could even knock out Islam. Who is going to beat Ilia Topuria? Is he going to retire undefeated? We are currently watching a GOAT, and we're living through it, man. Life is good. We have the best fighter in the world, and he's the lightweight champion. We are lightweight champion. This was just so satisfying to watch. And I love Charles Oliveira. He was one of my favorites. He always will be. He always will be. But the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall, man. And sometimes we don't get what we want, you know? Sometimes we don't get what we want. I remember when I really wanted Charles to beat Islam. I did. I really wanted him to beat Islam. Sometimes we lose. But Ilia never loses. And that's something you guys got to learn. Ilia never loses. This guy is just different. He is just different. He doesn't lose. He will never lose. He's going to retire undefeated. And if you keep picking against him, you're never going to make money. Ilia Topuria is the lightweight GOAT. He's gonna be. He's the featherweight GOAT. He's the GOAT. This guy might be the GOAT in like 2 years' time with a couple more wins. He's gonna retire undefeated and he's gonna be the best of all time. Undeniably. Let me know what you thought of the card though. Incredible start to finish. I thought we got it done. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.